All right, we're good to go whenever you guys are.
Are we ready to go? All right. Got a story to tell you tonight about a little girl about your age. I wrote this story for her. I think you might recognize who she is. It's called The Gift of the Angels. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Angela. She was 9 years old, and she had a little brother named Jonathan. He was 5 years old. They had a mom and a dad and an older brother, but the story's not about them, so we're not going to say much more about that. Angela and Jonathan were like, other brothers and sisters. They fought and they argued and they played and they did all that stuff. But they cared for each other a lot. Jonathan cared for Angela, and Angela really cared for Jonathan. Now it was getting close to Christmas, and they were both getting excited for Christmas Eve. Now they knew that Christmas was more than presents, but those presents looked really fun under the tree. On Christmas Eve, they opened their presents, and each of them had a favorite present. For Jonathan, the little 5-year-old boy, he had a teddy bear named Boo Boo. And if he squeezed it, it would talk to him. And he just loved that teddy bear. For Angela, who was 9 years old, she had a little doll, a clown. And she called her clown Julie. So they were very excited on Christmas Eve, playing with their little doll, Julie, and their little doll, Boo Boo. Now, Jonathan, being a 5-year-old little boy, was kind of like most little boys. He could be just as nice and sweet one minute. The next minute, he's throwing Boo Boo up in the air and catching him, which was a good deal that he caught him. But he threw him up again in the air, and he didn't catch him. And he dropped, and he broke, and he started crying. And he brought little bear to Mom and Dad to say if they could fix it. And they shook the bear and rattled, and there was lots of little small parts, and Mom and Dad said, sorry, we can't fix the bear. The parts are too little. We can't put them back together again. And they tried to get him interested in the other presents he had, but he just would not hear it. He was crying and sad. That night, when he went to sleep, when everyone else went to their beds, Jonathan came down to the nativity set, and he brought the broken Boo Boo down there, and he laid him under the nativity set, and he said to the angel, dear angel, as you watch over the baby Jesus, watch over my Boo Boo. If anyone can heal him, maybe you can. And then Jonathan went back to his bed, hoping that maybe, just maybe, that angel might help his little broken bear. Well, he didn't think anyone was watching, but his older sister Angela was there. And she had to bite her lip to keep from crying. She went back to her room. She was so sad and she couldn't sleep. All she could think about was Jonathan. After some time, she got up. It was midnight and everyone else was fast asleep. And she walked into the living room and turned on the Christmas tree lights. She looked at the nativity set and she turned on its light too. And then something strange happened. She knelt before the nativity at the very spot where Jonathan had knelt and prayed. She thought for a while. Then her thoughts became words. I know that there really are angels, but this angel above the nativity set, it's not real. Looking at the angel on the nativity set, Angela said, you really aren't real, are you? And she paused for a while, but if you were real, if there are any angels around here, please hear my prayers. I'm not asking for myself. I'm asking for Jonathan. He's so sad about his broken doll. Angela stopped and thought for a while, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. Kneeling at the nativity scene, praying to little angels, and at midnight, that was the adult in Angela speaking. Soon, however, the child in her returned. No, wait a minute. The angel will answer me. I know that she will. But Angela heard no answer. She did not give up. Maybe I must do the fixing myself. She returned to her prayers. Oh, angel of Bethlehem, I will go and fix Boo Boo. My parents say the pieces are too little for them to fix. Make me small enough that my hands might be able to do what adult hands cannot do. But Angela heard no response. Getting up off her knees, she began to go back to her room when suddenly a voice called out to her, "Angela, my child, your prayers have been heard and answered. For the rest of the evening, you will be your doll, Julie. In that time, you'll have the power to fix Jonathan's doll. But this one condition I place upon the miracle. You must complete your work and be back here by the nativity before sunrise. If you do not, you must remain Julie the doll forever. Do you still want to do the miracle? It's now your choice." Angela thought for a minute. She loved her life, her mother, her father, her family. She loved being Angela. She did not want to leave them for anything, but she hesitated for a moment, then she thought about Jonathan. As she thought of him, all doubt was removed from her mind. How happy he will be if his boob was repaired. And if she did not come back to her family, she knew that somehow they would understand. Exactly how that might be, she didn't know. "Yes, I'm ready for the miracle," she said. And having said these words, Angela found herself, her world swirling around her in ever faster circles, round and round. Everything went. She became quite dizzy, even a little nauseous. Finally, she fell down in a heap. Closing her eyes, she felt somewhat better, although everything still seemed to spin in her head. She lay very still for a while. At last, she opened her eyes. She could hardly believe what she saw. She was lying under a huge tree in a forest. The tree had wonderfully beautiful lights upon it. She had never seen anything like it, but of course she had. In a few seconds, she recognized where she was. She was lying underneath the tree, their Christmas tree, the one she had helped decorate. But now she saw it from a new angle. Looking at her clothes, she saw the red dots on her of her doll. She was now Julie. The miracle had happened. Angela quickly set about her task of fixing Boo Boo. She ran to the doll, but she had no idea what to do. The angel promised I would have the power to fix him, but how? I don't know what to do. What did the angel mean? She looked around the living room, but could not see anything that might help. Then for a moment, just a little moment, she felt scared. What if I can't fix the doll? What if I can't leave here ever again? But this was a terrible thought. Angela quickly dismissed the idea from her head. She trusted the words of the angel. You will have the power to fix the doll. Then an idea came to her. She ran to her room and went straight to her shelf where she kept all of her dolls. She began to shake them, and sure enough, they started to wake up. She went to two special dolls, her nurse and doctor dolls. If anyone could fix Boo Boo, they could. So Angela and the nurse and the doctor ran back to the living room. They were followed by all the other dolls and stuffed animals. The doctor took a slow look at Boo Boo and smiled at Angela. Everything will be all right, he reassuringly told her. Angela was happy and relieved. And looking at the clock, she now saw that it was 1:30 in the morning. There would be plenty of time to return to the nativity scene. Just as the doctor was finishing up the last stitch in his work, the dolls all gasped and cried out in panic. "Look out, she's coming, run!" "Who's coming?" Angela asked. But no one had time to answer. They were all too busy running. But in a few seconds, Angela received her answer. Kitty, the family pet, briskly walked around the corner into the living room. "Oh, it's only Kitty," Angela sighed in relief. "You don't have to be afraid of her. She won't hurt you." "No, Julie, you are wrong," the teddy bear yelled. "Please run for our room. Run now." But Angela was not afraid and waited for Kitty to come to her. Now, of course, Kitty did not recognize Angela. Kitty only saw the doll Julie. And Kitty was not the sweet family pet that Angela thought her to be. Kitty had a nasty habit of hurting Angela's dolls and animals, but Angela had never known this. Kitty slowly walked up to Julie. Then, coming within pouncing distance, she jumped and caught Angela by the arm. She ripped and pulled the arm, nearly tearing it completely off. Angela was shocked and terrified and thought she would die. And she probably would have had it not been for two brave teddy bears. They came running back to rescue Angela. Throwing themselves at Kitty, they knocked the air right out of her tummy. She rolled over a couple of times and gasped for breath. "Run! Quickly run!" they shouted at Julie as they picked themselves up. Taking their own advice, they made a mad dash for Angela's room. Holding her arm, Angela did run and made it back to the room just as Kitty was about to leap upon her again. The other dolls positioned themselves behind the door and slammed it shut. They were now safe. Angela was crying, both because her arm hurt and because she had been so frightened by Kitty. But the dolls all tried to comfort her. "Don't cry, we're all safe now. That cat can't come in here, although she will wait outside the door for the rest of the night. Don't cry. We have a good mother. Her name is Angela. You will like her a lot. She will see to your arm in the morning. You'll be okay. You will like it here in our family, but most of all, you will like our mother." With such soothing words, the dolls tried to comfort Angela. "You don't understand," Angela protested. "I can't stay here. I must get back to the living room to the nativity scene. I must, don't you see?" But they didn't. All they could understand was the cat was purring loudly outside the room. "No," they answered, "you can't go out there again tonight. The cat will surely kill you." Angela felt very sad. She would never be Angela again, never again be part of her family. She would remain the doll, Julie. She started to cry. The other dolls pat her on the head, thinking that she was crying about her nearly torn off arm. Then Angela thought about her brother Jonathan, how happy he will be that his doll has been fixed. She thought of the smile that would be on his face tomorrow morning as he discovers the miracle. That made her smile. That made her laugh. Yes, she thought, it has been all worth it. Then she closed her eyes and went to sleep. She slept very soundly, for after all, she had been up most of the night. The next morning, Christmas Day, Angela woke to the screaming of Jonathan. "My doll, Boo-Boo, my doll, Boo-Boo, come listen, he's fixed." From room to room, Jonathan ran, yelling the good news. He came into Angela's bedroom and showed the doll to her, pushing it right into her face. Then off he ran to tell the others. As Angela was waking up, she suddenly realized that she was herself, a 9-year-old girl. Her arm was fine. She was not the doll Julie. Was it all just a dream, she wondered, as she rubbed the sleep from her eyes. Before she could answer her own questions, suddenly the angel of the nativity scene appeared to her in her room. "No, my child, it was not all a dream. The miracle happened, all of it, just as you remembered." "Then why am I back here in my own bed?" Angela questioned. "I didn't make it back to the nativity scene as you commanded. I should still be the doll." "It's true that you did not keep your end of the bargain," the angel said. "But how terribly wrong to punish you on Christmas by forcing you to remain a doll. For you understand Christmas better than most, even better than the very wisest of the wise." The angel continued, "You are rightly named angel, for you are one of us. Truly, my child, you are greater than all of us, for your gift was the greatest gift of all. Your miracle was the grandest miracle of all. You willingly and joyfully gave yourself. You do not merely understand Christmas, you are Christmas, where God gives himself to us." And with that, the angel disappeared. Angela never saw any angels again, for she was 9 years old and almost an adult. Later that Christmas Day, Angela told her dad that it was now all right with her to sell Kitty and buy that hunting dog he had always wanted. Dad did not understand the reason for a change of mind, and Angela never told him. In later years, Jonathan and Angela had their quarrels, as brothers and sisters often do. But for the most part, they loved each other dearly. The end.